In early January 2026, the world woke up to unprecedented news. United States military forces carried out a strike in Venezuela and captured President Nicolás Maduro, a sitting head of state, then brought him to the United States to face federal charges, shocking governments, analysts, and citizens around the globe. On January 3, 2026, the U.S. launched a military operation inside Caracas, Venezuela's capital. Special forces captured Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, at their residence after a series of coordinated strikes on strategic targets. Maduro and Flores were then transferred first to a U.S. Navy vessel and flown to New York, where they appeared in federal court in Manhattan. Both pled not guilty to serious charges, including narco-terrorism and drug trafficking. This marked one of the most extraordinary military and legal actions in recent history. A foreign president taken into custody to face criminal prosecution in the U.S. legal system. The U.S. government justified the operation by pointing to long-running accusations that Maduro's regime was involved in international drug trafficking and narco-terrorism, charges that have formed part of U.S. indictments against him since 2020. The U.S. also cited the need to combat narcotics and criminal networks tied to Venezuela, though critics argue that no official UN authorization or clear legal basis under international law exists for a military abduction of a sitting leader. The capture sparked intense international debate. World leaders condemned the operation as a violation of sovereignty and international law. Latin American governments voiced particularly strong opposition. The United Nations Security Council held emergency discussions on whether the operation breached core principles of territorial integrity. Some Venezuelans, especially in the diaspora, celebrated the end of Maduro's rule, expressing relief after years of economic collapse and political repression. Meanwhile, countries like Russia publicly backed the interim Venezuelan leadership, calling U.S. actions neo-colonial and asserting support for Venezuelan sovereignty. Within hours of the news breaking, social media exploded with memes, jokes, and AI images related to the event. AI-generated visuals falsely depicting the arrests circulated widely, some later debunked by fact-checkers. Internet humorists created viral content about Maduro's clothing, his journey to the U.S., and surreal scenarios involving celebrities, turning a geopolitical crisis into meme culture overnight. Platforms like X and Reddit became hubs for both serious political analysis and satirical posts, a reflection of how people process world events online. These humorous twists transformed this global incident into one of the most virally discussed topics across the internet. The capture of Nicolás Maduro is historically significant for several reasons. Rare prosecution of a sitting head of state outside international tribunals. A fierce debate about sovereign immunity and whether leaders can be held criminally responsible in foreign courts. Comparisons to the 1989 U.S. capture of Panamanian leader Manuel Noriega, another controversial military arrest. The U.S. capture of President Nicolás Maduro in 2026 isn't just a headline. It's a turning point in international relations, law, and digital culture. From serious global ramifications to meme-fueled social media trends, this event reshaped how people around the world think about power, justice, and the digital age.